turmoil, but they seem to be okay. So again, it's one of those things where it's like time has to pass and you have to prove yourself a little extra. My point is Lord X has been a nice supporter.
Good.
Greeting.
Thank you, Lord X.
So again, no real name, no city or state, just Lord X. Mm-hmm. Greetings, Matt and Eric. One of my favorite moments of the year came way back in February when Braun and Elias were having their feud. Braun interrupted Elias' song with one of his own and eventually smashed a cello across the back of Elias. It could have just been one of those silly moments, but it proved that Braun could do comedy as well as he did the brutal monster guy gimmick. Happy holidays to you both and Happy New Year. Thank you, Lord X. Yes, when he brought out his bronze-sized guitar, which was sort of an upright bass, it was very memorable, very funny.
I think, and Braun in general, we have enough, between Mixed Match Challenge and some of the things on the network. It's like you can tell that he's in real life, a pretty jovial, funny guy. So yeah, it's and that's definitely part of like sort of taking down the barriers these days.
It was very funny last week, or I don't know, but when they do build up these monster guys, and the latest one is Lars Sullivan, who's like the Freak. It's like, oh, you've never seen anything like the Freak. His hands are like giant, like medieval fair turkey legs, and he's going to kill everyone in his path, and it's crazy. And then like online, he's like, hey guys, happy holidays. Like,
right. From the Freak. Hope y'all had a freaky Christmas.
I hope you all are surrounded by loved ones this year.
Right.
This, it's like, Merry Christmas from me and my cat. Like, so, then the final one here is from Scotland's famous favorite son, Pete. Pete from Forfar, Scotland, who seems to write in every week. I'm gonna have to go to Forfar, I guess, right? Like when I go back to Scotland, I always think, I'm going to Edinburgh and Glasgow, and then I do want to go to the Highlands at some point. Like I want to see the Highlands. I don't know what a destination in the Highlands would be, but I want to go there.
Sure.
But Forfar is just a little burg. Sleepy little burg. Maybe worth the visit. Hey guys, Merry Christmas. Do you think feuds or significant events are ever decided due to one moment it can produce? The idea of Styles versus Orton at WrestleMania, which we talked about last week or the week before, just makes me think Springboard 450 into an RKO WrestleMania moment, which, although cool, will come at the cost of a mostly unwelcome feud. Not sure what else this pairing could offer. I would hope not, but I just can't help but suspect there's some truth to this. I don't know, Pete. I understand what you're saying, especially when it comes to anyone feuding with Randy Orton. The first thing you think of is like, well, how can he RKO them based on their finisher? Like that's kind of all he has to offer, in my opinion. But I'm going to blame AJ Styles for this one because I've actually interviewed AJ Styles way more than anyone else. And this goes back to TNA, and I've interviewed him multiple times. It just so happens that he's been available for interviews a lot, like for pay-per-views that have come up. He was WWE.
I think you're saying you've interviewed him more than other wrestlers you've interviewed. Not that you're the person who's interviewed him.
No, not more than other people in the world. Yeah. I mean that other wrestlers I've interviewed him a lot. Yeah. And on a couple occasions, because you eventually fall back on like, you're in WWE now. Who do you have interest in facing? He's always said Randy Orton. Like, he's always like, Randy Orton's a guy I've always wanted to wrestle. And I think they did once on SmackDown. He's like, believe it or not, that was the first time we've wrestled, and I want to do something with him. So I'm putting this on AJ. I feel like this is something he's into.
Right.
I don't know why, AJ, but like I don't know what's going on in his, according to Vince McMahon, twisted dark underbelly, like his black heart. But part of that darkness is him wanting to have a actual WrestleMania feud with Randy Orton, which is probably the most depraved, evil thing I can think of.
That's him going full heel.
Yeah, he's like, guess what? You all are going to watch Orton a lot.
Right.
Do you have anything you'd like to say before we call this year a wrap and take a break for a week?
No, I mean, I just do want to mention NXT a little more as far as, look, it's not that it was going into the year, we could already say like, oh man, look at how much NXT is just operating at a different level. Look at NXT is so much tighter and more consistent than WWE. But this year, I think, especially with Raw having a lot of notable issues, it really stood out. And just every takeover being so great. This year, I was, you and I were at New Orleans together, and then I was lucky enough to be at the LA one as well, the War Games. They're amazing. I think of the two, New Orleans was, my favorite of the two I went to, and you just think, I was looking at my favorite matches of the year. Most of them were NXT. The ladder match at New Orleans. So many of the Gargano matches. I'd probably pick Gargano Almas in Philadelphia as my favorite.
I mean, Gargano Almas, he had 3 amazing ones with Ciampa. His recent one with Aleister Black at TakeOver. Yeah. I mean, he had a good cage match on TV too, but yeah, like there's that whole like Johnny Takeover thing going on too. Like, win or lose, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm going to steal the show. Because Velveteen Dream too, it's a good testament to the fact that like, yeah, losses, there's still value in
mostly
in
losing.
Yeah, value in losing.
Yeah,
which is something big. I was mentioning at the top, watching like a bit of the history of ECW too, and how important it was to Tommy Dreamer that he lose mostly, because that was his thing. That's what got the crowd behind him, and that was what drove his character, was losing. Specifically in his like multi-year feud with Raven, he never won until Raven left the company, right, and he won and he beat him on the way out. But yeah, the value in losing, which is something WWE hasn't mastered. This main roster hasn't mastered this.
Nope.
And I think it also has to do with the commentary. I think the commentary doesn't know how to sell losses in a way that can drive a babyface forward. NXT knows how to do that.
Yeah, they did much better. And it's not like WWE did not in the past. Not that, probably not to this extent, but I know you and I have mentioned how like The Rock could lose a lot. And it obviously didn't hurt him. But yeah, NXT just has mastered that. And Velveteen Dream and Gargano are 2 great examples of it.
Yeah, the main roster. Yeah, exactly. The main roster right now, if you lose, even when the heel cheats, even if it's due to massive outside interference, they will still bury you and make you look like an idiot for falling for it.
Yeah, and talk about how your momentum is losing momentum.
And Corey Graves is like, it doesn't matter if you cheat. Did he win? Like it's one of those things where they can't do that. So that's another fear we have when people get called up.
Yep. And then, you just look at, I don't know. Like, I was thinking a lot about NXT TakeOver New Orleans just because it was such a great show. I mean, the fact that that ladder match and the Gargano-Ciampa match, but even that same night was Roderick Strong's heel turn, which I think was a really well done, one of those moments that was just really cool as far as, adding to the Undisputed Era, which has been a great stable. I love NXT. I would certainly, if people listening to this have not been to an NXT show when they come near you, I would highly recommend it. It's just, they're just firing on all cylinders. So that really stands out to me.
So finally, and we'll sign off with this, is who wrote this? Who wrote this? Oh, I think it was online. I think I have to go to Twitter. Hold on. So we sent out a call for emails, but somebody actually just tweeted us and said, this comes from Eddie. Eddie from, doesn't say. Oh, El Paso. Eddie from El Paso. Sorry, Eddie, I actually just had to spy on your Twitter account to see where you're from. Wrote, my favorite moment has to be during TakeOver New Orleans when Gargano powerbombed Ciampa onto the exposed floor. We all chanted, "You deserve it." It was brutal and funny.
Matt and I were there chanting that.
Yeah, because he guess what? He deserved it.
He deserved it. 100%.
He deserved it. Yeah.
By the way, we can mention in passing that the MSG show this week was notable for a couple reasons. Ronda and Nia main evented, which people believe is the first time women have main evented a Madison Square Garden wrestling event, which is awesome. But then Ciampa and Gargano were on the same team. They were teaming with Undisputed Era versus a bunch of faces on what sounds like an amazing 5 versus 5 NXT
Yeah, there was
match.
that cool black and white photo of the baby faces.
Yeah.
With like Pete Dunne and Ricochet and Velveteen and Aleister Black on one side. I think I'm missing one person. But yeah, it was really cool that they all got to do that. And then Gargano had a picture with Cena and his dream to wrestle at Madison Square Garden, which I'm sure a lot of NXT people is their dream.
Sure.
Anyone in the wrestling business, probably your dream to wrestle at that place. So yeah, that was really cool that got included in on the show.
Yeah. I would like to watch that match.
I don't know if we can. I don't think we ever
can't.
will. Yeah,
I don't think we
I
will.
don't think they filmed it, but we'll see.
No.
Maybe it'll pop up. Thank you, everyone, for listening for most of this year, and I hope you stick with us next year. Now that we're on every place that you can listen to, except SoundCloud. Womp womp. I kind of had to close that down.
I promise to have a better mic in the new year, having ended the year without a mic. So
yeah, he went to no mic to actual. I think just having a mic,
right,
will solve this immensely. And thank you, everyone. Everything is possible, but nothing is real. Cut to Chrisley and Shakma.
Happy New Year and Shakma.
Penny, 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 you're my closest friend.
Oh, you wrote a song about me.
Wanna be with you till the bitter end.
That is so sweet.
Got the biggest calves I've seen on a man.
Wait, I don't see how that lyric applies.
Oh, it doesn't. It's for this guy Kenny that I met at Spencer's Gifts. I changed the first letter of the names just so.
Oh, how nice for him.
I think so. Penny, 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 you're my closest friend. Wanna be with you to the bitter end. Got the biggest calves for a man.
We enjoy wrestling.